And we're thrilled to be joined by one of the most successful business leaders and people anywhere in the country, whether it's technology, no matter what business you're talking about, there's really nobody quite like him. He's chairman and CEO of Dell Technologies. Make great everything, great computers, great everything. Michael Dell, very much of a legend, who's here with his really exciting announcement. It's so amazing, and much more importantly, he's here with his wonderful wife, Susan, and they have a special relationship. I think I can say that, really. It's very nice. I don't see too much of it. I see the opposite, but I don't see too much. I have two special people, and I've seen that. I've known that for a long time, and I think it's a tremendous thing. Also, the CEO of Altamir Capital, Brad Gerstner. Where are you, Brad? Brad Gerstner is a terrific fellow who's very much involved in this incredible thing that we're doing today, along with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Treasury Secretary, Scott Besson, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Commerce and Science and Transportation, Ted Cruz, House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith, Vice Chairman of the House Republican Conference, Blake Moore, as well as the Chief Design Officer of the United States Airbnb co-founder, Joe Gebbia. I want to thank you all for being here. It's a great group. And I guess a potential Fed chair is here, too. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that? Potential. He's a respected person, that I can tell you. Thank you, Kevin. Today is Giving Tuesday. I don't know if anybody's heard that one before, but it is indeed Giving Tuesday, one of the biggest days of the year for philanthropy and charitable giving. And this afternoon, Michael and Susan Dell are committing to one of the largest private donations in American history, which will directly benefit the next generation of American children through the new Trump Accounts program that we created in our One Big Beautiful Bill. And Michael and Susan came to see me along with Brad, and they said, this is an idea. And I said, I think, it sounded just so good and so unique. But that's why he's been so successful, and they've been so successful in life and in business, because they're unique. Trump Accounts will be the first, I guess you could say, real trust funds for every American child, allowing family members, employers, corporations, generous donors to contribute money that will be invested and grow over the course of a child's life to be used for their benefit after they turn 18. So in other words, these are children that are going to, an investment's going to be made. That investment's going to continue to grow, we hope, right? We hope. And, but it will. And they'll feel like Michael Dell someday. But at 18, they'll have a lot of money, a lot more money than they would have had, and potentially a lot of money. But these accounts will track the overall stock market and will be 100% private property controlled by the child's guardians. In honor of America's 250th anniversary, the Dells are announcing today that they are giving 25 million American children $250 each to save and to invest in their personal Trump account. Now, that's the equivalent of $6.25 billion.
Oh, my goodness.
In other words, to put it succinctly, Michael and Susan are giving $6.25 billion in total.
It's amazing.
And as a total contribution, that's big stuff. I don't care who you are. That's big. Come here, give me a hand. Let me have a little of that luck rub off. That's fantastic, Susan. These gifts will be available to the first 25 million children aged 10 and under the zip codes where their median income is $150,000 or less. So they're giving them to children that won't be born particularly rich, and they're going to be hopefully very rich someday. This will give millions of dollars, millions of children, middle-class families a stake in American prosperity, a benefit from the rising stock market, and a better shot at the American dream. It really gives them a shot at the American Dream. Michael and Susan, I want to thank you for this extraordinary act of kindness and patriotism and charity. This is truly one of the most generous acts in the history of our country. I mean, you don't hear about things like that, and we got to let people know he doesn't want and she doesn't care about that, but I do. I think when somebody does that, you got to let them know about it. As I mentioned, this gift is being made possible by the largest tax cuts in American history, which our Republican majorities passed earlier this year, and the Speaker worked so hard, and John Thune and Jason and all of them, every one of them. Ted Cruz is with us. He worked so hard getting that done. That was the biggest, most consequential bill they say ever passed. And you know, if they remember, Michael, they thought we had to put that in 12 to 14 bills. I said, I don't know if we can hold it that long with the Democrats. And we said, let's try doing it once. So we did, and people were surprised, but we got it done. So I congratulate you guys. Amazing job. Under that bill, the federal government will also automatically be making a one-time seed contribution of $1,000 into the tax-deferred Trump accounts for every newborn U.S. citizen, fulfilling a promise I made in the 2024 campaign. Trump accounts should grow to be worth many thousands of dollars by the time the child is 18, and even more by the time they are 20 or even 30 years old. We think it's going to be something really unique and really special. We hope many others will follow Michael and Susan's example and make their own contributions. I'll be doing it too, to the next generation, including businesses, churches, philanthropists, family members, and parents themselves. I think we're going to have a lot of people, Susan. I think a lot of people are going to be contribute. A lot of people are watching us right now. They might not be $6 billion plus, but there'll be a lot. There aren't too many people that are in the 6 billion range, but there'll be a lot. A lot of friends of mine have already told me they're going to contribute a lot of money, and a lot of them are going to leave a lot of money in their wills, so that's very important. And as you watch us today, I hope you'll be doing that. Contributions to Trump accounts will also be a great benefit for employers to offer their workers, which they'll be able to do tax-free. It's tax-free. We expect hundreds of major companies to announce plans to contribute to these accounts in the coming months, and we've had tremendous interest in that regard. So the Trump accounts will be available starting on July 4th next year. And Michael and Susan, to you again, it's an amazing act of just incredible everything. I mean, the life you've led to be able to do this, even to be able to, even a lot of people have a good heart, but they can't give $6.25 billion. And Michael, probably knowing you, it's not the last of it either. It's not the last. But on behalf of the United States of America, I want to thank you both, and I want to thank all three. But I want to thank you both because you've been friends of mine, and it's a spectacular couple. This is really an amazing people. These are unique. And I'd like to have you come up and say a couple of words and tell us what you have in mind, because what you have in mind is good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to be with you here in the White House. And, you know, when you passed the Invest America Act on July 4th of this year, we were really inspired to see that happen. And this is something that, you know, Brad had first mentioned to us in 2021. We thought it was a great idea then, and it's amazing that it happened. And we also saw that this act would become a platform. And, you know, we believe the smartest investment that we can make is an investment in children. And this act has created a platform for families and friends and communities and companies and philanthropists to contribute to these accounts to create a savings and opportunity and hope and prosperity for tens of millions of children in this country. And Susan and I are super excited to announce our $6.25 billion gift to 25 million American children, 10 and under, and our gift will cover most of the children that are 10 and under that are not part of the federal program, the 0 to 2-year-olds, and who also live in zip codes where the median income is $150,000 or less. And I have spoken with a number of other wealthy Americans, philanthropists, and we are confident that others will join us because we all understand the incredible impact that a gift like this can have on the lives of young Americans. So again, it's a great honor for us to be here to be able to announce this. You know, when I was 8 years old, I got a passbook savings account and I had, I think about $8 in it. And you go to the savings and loan and you give them a quarter and they'd stamp your account. And I got to see the power of compound interest early in my life. And that has brought me here to this moment. And hopefully will inspire that kind of opportunity for many more young people in this country. So again, thank you for the privilege of being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. So beautiful. Thank you very much. Susan, would you like to say something?
I'd just like to say how excited we are to be a part of this. We believe that when children have a future that they can see is worth saving for, then that will help build hope and opportunity and prosperity for generations to come. So we're so excited to be doing this and hope to have many people join in our efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. So beautiful. Brad,
Well, first, it's an incredible honor to be here, and we wouldn't be here without the passage of the Invest America Act, and everybody up here today played a role in getting that done. The Speaker, Ted Cruz, in drafting the legislation so that when the President placed the call to the Speaker and said, let's make this happen in the big, beautiful bill, Congress was ready to act. They had the legislation drafted. But I couldn't be more grateful for the friendship and the partnership of the Dells that really show the best of America. Today is Giving Tuesday, right? And the fact of the matter is, for decades, we've talked about the wealth gap. We've talked about too many people left out and left behind. This president was elected on a Main Street agenda to get the rest of America into the game. And that's exactly what this does. It gets every American child, 3.7 million children born every year, will now start life off with an investment account, seeded with $1,000. And then you're going to have great philanthropists, great Americans like Michael and Susan who are going to add money to those accounts. We're overwhelmed with the number of companies that want to contribute to these accounts. Already companies from Uber to NVIDIA, T-Mobile to Charter Communications, Dell, et cetera, the list goes on. And every day more companies are calling us, raising their hands and saying, we want to be part of this. It's like a 401k from birth. It's a benefit for the kids of our employees, right? Major philanthropists. But I think what this is going to unlock is the power of families. Moms and dads Venmoing and Apple Paying and $5, $10, right? And getting these kids into the game. When we had the round table at the White House earlier this year, Dara Khosrowshahi, the CEO of Uber, said, you know, after fleeing Iran at the age of 9 with nothing, he came to America because it was the land of hope. And he said what the Invest America Act does is it bottles up hope for every child in America. Whether you're in rural Mississippi or rural Indiana, where I came from, inner city Trenton or Compton, you're now in the game, right? That act alone, I think, reinvigorates the American dream. It reinvigorates the idea of free market capitalism. Too many people are losing faith in you, sir. By passing the Invest America Act and getting all these kids into the game, this is a transformational act in this country forevermore. Every child starts off life in the game with a piece of the American dream compounding in the upside of America. So thank you for having us here.
Well, this is really amazing. When they're done, I'll share my thoughts. Our openly gay Treasury Secretary.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I think this is a major change in philanthropy and for American working families.
He's so tall, he's off mic.
The merging of President Trump's agenda of parallel prosperity, Main Street meets Wall Street. For the next 5 years, that every child born in the U.S. will get a $1,000 Trump account that will be with them and compound for the next 18 years. Treasury Department with other branches of government is going to do financial literacy, and we are going to make sure that all American families have a stake in the success of the United States of America. So every day when the stock market goes up or down, and we believe over the 18 years it will go up and families will learn the power of compounding, that it will be a game changer. People who have a stake in the system and become more and more vested in the system, they do not want to bring down the system, they want to make it better. So I think we will look back on today and know that these Trump accounts, they have started a new age of the capitalism and market interest for the whole country. I also think that it is a game changer, as we're seeing with Michael and Susan Bell today, that Americans are the most generous people in the history of the world, and the Trump accounts will provide a vehicle for philanthropists such as Michael and Susan and many more to contribute. And at Treasury, we are working, so Michael and Susan want to do it for children born in the past 10 years, a certain income level. As Brad said, it can be tailored, it can be to employees. It could be a philanthropist could adopt a state, they can adopt a school, they can adopt a zip code, they can adopt a street. And so we will constantly see these accounts be topped up. For those of you on the Treasury, will be running this on the operational side. For those of you who would like to, you can go to trumpaccounts.gov today and see the homepage that has a basic outline. These will become operational on July 5th of this year. And we will have families start signing up for them. So, and that homepage will answer all the questions on eligibility and investments. And then finally, today we're here on Giving Tuesday. Michael and Susan have led the way, but I think that there's a chance that every Tuesday can become Giving Tuesday as more and more philanthropists see the power of this, of giving to American families, giving to American children, and giving everyone a stake in our great economy. So thank you very much.
If you're watching on the live stream with the green wall, go to my main stream,
I'll be
link
brief.
in the
There's a lot
description.
of
You can
symbolism
see
here
and hear the
today.
video.
Right here on the eve of the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation in the history of the world. We are the greatest nation by any objective measure. We're the most free, most powerful, most successful, and most benevolent nation that's ever been. And I think what you're seeing here is another exhibit of that. This idea, this vision came about because Brad and a couple of smart guys came up with this idea, and then took a few years to sell the idea to everybody. And then these visionary legislators over here, Senator Ted Cruz and Blake Moore in the House and Jason Smith, the Ways and Means Chair, really caught the vision. And we put it into the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut. We've been saying all along that was drafted to really help lower and middle class earners in America. And this is one of the great features. One of the perils of having the big, beautiful bill and having it all in there together, the President and I have talked about many times, is that there's so many great things in that legislation, we don't have enough time to talk about all of it. So we need a moment to really focus on this. Giving Tuesday is a perfect time to do it. And it's absolutely perfect, I think, that July 5th becomes the operational date right after the nation's birthday. So what we're going to see here is a model that I don't think anyone has done anywhere in the world. They wouldn't have the capability to do it. They wouldn't have philanthropists and great Americans with big hearts like this who've earned their way and really fulfilled the American dream. And they have a vision and a desire for more and more people to do that. And so now more and more Americans will. It kind of evens the playing field in a way, right? And everybody has an opportunity. So we're just excited to be a part of it, grateful to the vision, grateful to a president who leads from the front, who understands the potential of something like this. And this will be one of the many marquee achievements of the Trump administration. This will be one that people remember for a long, long time. And I think it can change the country. So thanks, Mr. President. Thanks, Brad. All of you for being a part. Thank you to the Dells. Really amazing. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Well, I want to congratulate all the men and women up here. And, Mr. President, I think objectively on the merits, the case can be made that there has never been a president who's had a greater positive impact
Oh, no, this is
on the
big
children
news. I'll
of
tell you why,
America
Chris,
than you
when we're
have.
done.
And in particular, in this one big, beautiful bill, I think the two most long-lasting and far-reaching provisions are, number one, the school choice provision that you signed into law that is going to unleash tens of billions of dollars to scholarships to low-income kids all over the country and is going to change the lives of millions of kids. And the second provision is this provision right here, the Trump accounts. These Trump accounts, starting on July 4th, every child in America will have a personal investment account opened for them. Newborn children will have it seeded with $1,000. Parents and family and employers can contribute up to $5,000 a year in a tax-advantaged account.
Wow.
That money will be invested in the S&P 500 in the stock market, broad-based equity index account. Two massive benefits that change this country. Number one, every child in America will experience the benefits of compound growth. Take a little girl born next year. She's born next year. She has the account opened for her. $1,000 is automatically seeded. Her parents or family or an employer puts $5,000 a year each year into that account. If you assume the historic rate of growth of the S&P 500, which is 7% a year, by the time that little girl is 18, she will have $170,000 in that account.
Oh, my goodness.
And if she keeps saving, by the time that little girl is 35, she will have $700,000 in that account. That is game-changing, and we're not talking the children of Michael and Susan Dell, the children of Donald Trump, the children of people of great success. We're talking the kids of a single mom waiting tables who could have $700,000 saved by the time she's 35 to get an education, to start a business, to buy a house. That changes their whole lives. But the second benefit, and what I'm really excited about, is we are creating a new generation of capitalists.
Yep.
Every child in America is going to be an owner of the biggest employers in this country. We've all seen the sad statistics of how many kids are losing faith in capitalism. Well, 10 years from now, a little boy is going to pull out his phone and he's going to look at his app.
It's a good one, Chuck.
And he's going to see his Trump account. And instead of thinking of big, bad, scary corporations, that little boy is going to say, I own $50 of Apple. I own $100 of Dell. I own $75 of McDonald's. And every child is an owner of the biggest employers in this country. That will transform this country.
No doubt.
Mr. President, thank you for signing it.
That's pretty amazing.
Let me say, Brad, this would not be a
wish I was
law
two.
if Brad Gerstner
get
did
it.
not pursue it with absolute dogged determination, relentless. I've gotten calls and texts from Brad at 6 a.m. and at 2 a.m. You may sleep less than the president, Brad, and that is a remarkable thing because I don't think he sleeps at all. And finally, I'll just say to Michael and Susan, incredible Texans, $6.25 billion is extraordinarily generous. Let me say, on behalf of 25 million kids who just got a gift from Michael and Susan, and it's not a gift of a video game, it's not a gift of a bicycle, it's an investment in their future. That changes their lives, and I hope and believe Michael and Susan are going to inspire millions across the country to do the same thing. When Congress passed Section 401k of the ERISA, I don't know that anyone realized how much it would change retirement plans. There's now trillions of dollars in 401k plans. They're going to be trillions of dollars in these. These are 401ks for kids. And Mr. President, these Trump accounts exist because you signed them. Thank you for your leadership. It's an honor to work with you.
This is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. I didn't realize what a big deal this was going to be. We'll talk about it when they're
First,
done.
I would just want to thank Michael and Susan for the kind gift. What you all have done will be transformational for 25 million kids. And a lot of people we can thank for the provisions in this big, beautiful bill, but there is no one to thank greater than President Donald Trump. And I'll tell you this, out of every executive I've ever worked with, there's no one that's been more engaging, no one that has been more involved. And the only reason why these investment accounts are in the big, beautiful bill is because he helped convince other members of Congress that this is a good idea. This has been something that has been discussed for a long time, but no one could ever get it passed. But who helped get it passed was Donald Trump. I can tell you that from day one throughout the process. And so that's going to affect millions of kids in their futures.
Thank you. I was not planning or prepared to speak today, but the gravity of the situation is not lost on me. I have 4 boys of my own, 13 and under, and on the heels of a $6 billion announcement, I hope that that doesn't, go without some major headlines, that I will be making an announcement of my own that I will be contributing $60 to each one of my children's accounts today. And actually, to try to bring some levity to that, every parent, every grandpa and grandma can now look and say, I can get my grandkid this little toy or something, and maybe that's going to continue to happen. But there is a new option and another way for them to be able to invest and have a lasting legacy. And as a dad of 4 kids, seeing kids in our neighborhood, them to have that opportunity is something that not every day in Congress, as I've joked with my colleagues, is the most productive day in my career. But to be able to be a part of something like this is, it makes everything worthwhile. I'm away from my kids a ton in this job, and being able to be a part of something like this, a small part that I played, is something that is transformational, and I'll be able to look back on this and be so grateful for this opportunity that I've had to be able to serve in Congress. Thank you so much. I appreciate the chance to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anybody have a question? Michael, Susan, Brad, please.
Yeah, one for you two. If you could, did either of you say you're donating how much? You, Mr. President, is there an educational value to this in terms of not just the money in the account? What can kids learn in this account?
Well, I think they can learn a little bit about the free enterprise system, they can really learn a lot about how life works, how business works. They want to go out and make a living for themselves, because maybe it's going to be a lot more than we think, or maybe it's not going to be quite as much as we think, depending on what happens with the world and the market. We'll try and do very well in that regard too, but there's a lot of learning to be done, and I think this is a big step forward.
And your reaction, did either of you say you're donating how much?
Yeah, we already said it, it's $6.25 billion.
No, I mean, with the reaction between the two of you. Someone came up with the idea.
Oh, sure. Oh, well, so we kind of started with a smaller amount, to be honest. And we started talking about Texas only at the beginning.
And adopting the state of Texas.
Right. And then we thought about it some more, and we thought
Got pretty excited about the idea.
Yep, and we went back and forth, and as we do on these things, and we
got
ended
more
up.
And more excited, and next thing you know.
This is where we ended up. So, but a lot of
nice to be
discussion
rich.
and consideration over a long period of time.
Yeah.
We
believe
we feel great about it.
The greatest investment that we could possibly make is in children, and we've been investing in children for over 26 years with our foundation.
Yeah, and there are 30 states already that require at least one semester of financial literacy, and hopefully all 50 states will do that. And as children begin to understand that they have these accounts, that creates a real need for our schools, our parents, our community organizations to really begin to grow financial literacy in the country, which can only be a good thing.
It's really an amazing moment that 2 people would do that kind of a contribution. I mean, it's just an amazing moment. And it shows you there's a tremendous heart in great entrepreneurs. He's a great entrepreneur. They're both great entrepreneurs, because he probably wouldn't have done it without you, to be honest. That's the way it often works. And I know this relationship so well. There could be a lot of truth to that. But it shows you that there's a big heart in some pretty tough people. He's a tough cookie, but he's got a very, very warm spot. And what you've done, I don't think it's going to be talked about for a long time. It won't be forgotten. Thank you, sir.
May I ask a question? Thank you, sir. My question is about the logistics or the administration of the program.
Notice no Brian
you obviously
Glenn
want to help
again.
poorer children. How will you help families perhaps who don't have access to computers or internet at home to make this program a reality? Sure. And please speak in the microphone if you don't mind for our attorney.
Well, first, Treasury, as the Secretary talked about, is going to be administering the program. And we should just say that Luke Pettit, the Assistant Treasury Secretary, has just done an extraordinary job with the Secretary in what I think will be the biggest consumer launch in the history of government. 60 million accounts are going to get created next year. And these accounts are going to be, promulgated. All parents are going to have to do is to claim the account. So if they have access to an Android phone or a public library to go to a computer and gain access, they can claim that account. And whether they claim it or not, the account is going to continue to compound. So they don't have a deadline by which they have to claim the account. There's time, right? And there's going to be a lot of resources. Think about this. Kids in school, we're going to have schools engaged, helping to tell them that they need to claim their accounts, to educate them, et cetera. We're going to run a big public campaign around this. So we're just getting started. Today is day one. This is an extraordinary contribution, but it's the beginning of a drumbeat you're going to hear for the next 6 months leading up to the 250th anniversary of the country. I don't think there's anybody in the country who won't have heard about this by the time we get to July 4th of next year. And we're going to make sure, listen, we know that wealthy families have access to 529 accounts, right? This is an opportunity, and the instruction was, how do we get the 50 million other families into the game? This is the first time we've done that, because we're auto-creating these accounts for every child at birth, and so we're going to be very focused on making sure that every family entitled to get one of these accounts is able to claim it and get it.
Daniel, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. These programs seem to create an opportunity for parents to create unprecedented financial security for their children, sir. Do you believe that these accounts will be a big part of your legacy when everything goes down? We've heard talks about you being legacy as a peacemaker, but this is a really big deal.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do think so, and I think it's a big part of everybody up here today. This was a group that was very instrumental, and in particular, obviously, Michael and Susan, it's a big part of their legacy. They've got a big legacy anyway, but this is maybe going to be as important or more important than anything they've done thus far. It's, looking back in 100 years from now, I think you're going to see some things that they'll be talking about this very day. So thank you for that question. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. These accounts were originally discussed as a way to incentivize people to have more children. Are there any other policy proposals you're looking at like this to encourage the birth rate to increase?
Well, we are looking at programs. We're looking at, there's a certain Australian plan that people are liking and they're talking about. You know what I mean? There's a plan where, not for children necessarily, but it's for people, working people. And we are looking at other things different from this. I think this is very unique, but different from this, but very important. Yeah.
You mean the Australian retirement savings program?
Say it?
You mean the Australian retirement savings program?
That's what they're talking about. Yep, we're looking at it very seriously. It's a good plan. It's worked out very well. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you talk about what tax benefits these accounts come with? The information sheet that we just received said that when a child turns 18, they'll be treated like traditional IRAs and subject to a 10% withdrawal tax.
Please,
can you speak to when her
Sure.
children can be able to access these funds?
They can access them when they're 18, or they can convert them to an IRA at that time. During the 18 years, parents or employers can donate with the tax deduction up to $5,000 into each account, and then philanthropists, like Michael and Susan, can add an unlimited amount to the accounts. So $5,000 from employees or families, and then gifts from foundations and philanthropists can be an unlimited amount.
Mr. President, you said that you have been talking to your wealthy friends, as well as you, Mr. Dell, about contributing. Can you walk us through maybe who you've been talking to and how much more we can expect on top of
I think the people you probably would think I would be talking to. There's a group of people out there that have been very successful, and we've already started talking to them. We're doing ballrooms, we're doing arcs, we have a thing that's being planned that's going to be a great tribute to the country, as you know. You probably heard about it. The arc that we're looking at by the bridge near Arlington, there's going to be something. We're doing some other things for Washington itself and for the country itself. But a lot of the people that have, gone in and done a real job with that. The ballroom, I think Michael and Susan, the next time we meet, well, I think hopefully we'll meet before then, but we're going to have a big event over in the ballroom to celebrate this. We're building a ballroom that they've wanted at this beautiful White House for 150 years. They've wanted it so badly. Right now we can hold 109 people if you're lucky in a room. It's a beautiful room, but it's 109 people, and we're building something. You see the trucks in the back. You see the clanging, the banging, and when it's completed, it'll be one of the greatest ballrooms anywhere in the world. It's going to be amazing. So people that were involved in that process, I have a lot of friends with a lot of success, and every one of them, I would be shocked if anyone turns us down. We're going to have a lot of big contributors, Jeff.
Yep.
Separate topic, if I may, sir. You had a call with Brazil's President Lula today. Can you tell us what you discussed?
Yeah, we had a great talk. We talked about trade. We talked about sanctions, because, as you know, I sanctioned them, having to do with certain things that took place. But we had a very good talk. I like him. Very good. We had some good meetings, as you know, but we had a very good talk today. Yes, I did.
You also pardoned the former president of Honduras, and he was released from prison
yesterday.
I did.
Well, he was the president, and they had some drugs being sold in their country, and because he was the president, they went after him. That was a Biden horrible witch hunt, which was, a lot of people in Honduras asked me to do that, and I did it. I feel very good about it. If you have some drug dealers in your country and you're the president, you don't necessarily put the president in jail for 45 years. That was a Biden-inspired witch hunt.
Did his letter impact your decision on that, sir, from Mr. Stone?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Your decisions, recent decisions to Syria, renewed many hopes for the Syrian people. And now the minorities in Syria, like Kurds, Christians, and Jews, they want help. U.S. help them to have some sort of autonomy and their rights being protected in the Syria.
Well, we're going to give them help, and I think Syria's come a long way. The new leader of Syria was here, as you know, 3 weeks ago, and he was really into making that country, bringing the country around. Not an easy job. Not an easy job. It's centuries of problems. But I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him. Yeah, please.
Mr. President.
In the broader context of the economy with these childhood investments, we just saw the biggest Black Friday in history, up 4.1% from last year, $26 billion. Kevin told me about that. We also saw that they're going to spend $1 trillion on Christmas this year, $1 trillion. Yeah. Increasing 4.1%. 25 states, gas is below $3, a handful below $2.50 and getting better. Energy policy matters. The economy
I like
matters.
this guy.
And timing matters.
Who are you with?
Real America's Voice.
That's what I heard. That's what
But
I
time
like
matters.
you very much. Keep talking.
So to invest with these children now, the economy, the better the economy is, the better for the children, right? We're in a pretty good spot right now.
Sure. Well, I do, and I appreciate it. No, we have an amazing thing. We have over almost $20 trillion of investment coming in. I don't even know if you know that. 20 trillion, that's a lot by any standard, right? But Biden, as an example, I say this, his administration over a 4-year period had much less than $1 trillion. And we're up to 18, I guess right now, Scott, about 18 trillion in 10 months. And there's never been a country, China, no country has ever done anything even close to that. Even if you figure 20% of that, no country's done 20%. And it's because of tariffs and and I think because of November 5th, the election day. But we have now under construction, I guarantee you're expanding a lot of your different places, right, for Dell. But we have places like that. We have car companies. We have AI coming in at levels. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's amazing. And all of these places, hundreds and hundreds of plants, thousands, they're going to be opening, and they're going to be producing a lot of success, a lot of jobs. And I say it all the time. The king of Saudi Arabia said to me a year ago, he said, 1 year ago, your country was dead. Oh. And now you've got the hottest country anywhere in the world, and that's what we have. And it's one of the reasons Michael's able to do this. It's one of the reasons I'm able to be here and, having really run a very successful campaign. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions. We won the districts. I'll tell you, the district vote is the most impressive. 2,750 compared to 550. That's some difference. And we just had a tremendous election and a tremendous vote of confidence. And thank you very much for that question. Thank you.
Mr. President, if enough conservative lawmakers say they won't
On
extend
immigration,
ACA subsidies, will you make a deal with Democrats? Mr. President, will you make a deal with Democrats on ACA subsidies?
Thank you, Expanded travel ban, Mr. President.
All right, well, that was pretty amazing. It's not the announcement that we were expecting, right? Because we thought there was going to be, by the way, welcome if you're new. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you have any thoughts on what you heard, you're welcome to call in. The number's pinned in the live chat. I know there were some people on hold during the speech. We thought it was going to be either something to do with Venezuela, the cartels, or the fake refugee ban. Not that the ban's fake. The refugees are fake refugees. And this came out of the blue. This is something I wasn't expecting. But this is absolutely amazing. And, it's something that we've heard about. But until they had this press conference, I don't think any of us realized exactly what this is all about. What they're doing, think about this. Every American child that's born from this point forward with this Invest in America plan that they have are immediately going to be invested in the stock market. They're going to be capitalist. They're going to be capitalist from the moment they leave their mother's womb. Think about that. And what Ted Cruz said is that the kids are going to be able to look up online where their money's invested and find out they own $100 of Apple or $75 in McDonald's or whatever other corporations. And they're going to be capitalist. And these left-wing Obama generation school teachers, this left-wing, blue-haired, trans Tifa lunatics that are in our classrooms from pre-K through graduate school and college that are communist, they're not going to be able to sell that commie crap to children anymore because they're all going to be invested in the stock market. And many of them are going to graduate high school, college, or maybe wait until they're older and be rich and be able to buy, think about this, be able to buy their first home with cash. And that is really an amazing thing. And, the Dells here, whatever happened to that Dell kid? Remember that Dell kid? Where's he at today? Donating over $6 billion to get this started, and then you can donate money into your own child's account or your grandchild or niece or nephew's account every year up to a certain amount. This is absolutely amazing. These left-wing lunatics, the Seattle, Portland, New York City lunatic crowd, Mom Donnie with all his funny rings on, eating with his fingers and everything else, Bernie Sanders, AOC, all these Democratic socialist frauds have been selling this Democrat socialism lie and communism. How are you going to sell that shit, excuse my French, to a generation that all have the equivalent of a 401k investment in the stock market from the moment they were born? This is one of the most, and Trump account is what these are going to be called for till the end of time. 150 years from now, they're going to be calling this Trump accounts. This is, one of the biggest problems we've had are these communists brainwashing young people and forgetting about, financial literacy courses and everything like they were talking about. They get a lifetime, their entire education from the time they start kindergarten until they're through college is a brainwashing into the goodness of communism and socialism and all this other liberal lunacy. You're hard pressed if you go out as you're hard-pressed to find a school teacher that's a capitalist. That's going to change. And not only that, these kids are not only going to grow up and have a ton of money, they're going to grow up despising communism. Because, you know, they're going to look at their accounts and how it's doing and how the stocks are doing, and they're going to see how things are doing when there's a Republican president like a great one we have now, or a Democrat president, right? And they're going to see which type of president is better for the economy, because they're going to have their accounts that they're going to be looking at and see how it's affected when you have a Republican versus a Democrat lunatic president. This is one of the most ideological big. There's periods in American history. I'm not going to go through them. I've talked about them before, but there's certain things that happen in American history that change everything. Everything. This is one of them. Yeah. And there's going to be, you know, a lot. It's a miracle that this happened, you know. And they're right. Ted Cruz has been talking about this for years, but Republicans in the past had always been talking about privatizing Social Security, where you could take like 1% or half. They always had different percentage of your Social Security and put. That's never. This is different. This is beautiful. It is amazing, and it's how we can get the country back on track to raising American capitalists instead of a bunch of blue hair, green hair, trans Tifa, Antifa, Democrat, socialist lunatics that are among 85 genders. I mean, it's just stupidity. You know, and this is one of those things, and I love how they launched it with this wealthy husband and wife giving over $6 billion with a B into it. You know, President Trump, since his first press conferences in this second term, has White House announcement after White House announcement of billions and trillions of dollars in investments into this country from billionaires, business people, foreign entities, foreign companies. This never happened before. In the past, when presidents have announcements, they're giving American money away to some third world pit of hell, right? And it gets wasted. We've never had a president who has press conference after press conference that's all about people bringing money into our country. And then, by the way, next year, we're going to get our $2,000 bonus. And you know what? That $2,000 is going to become an annual thing. And a lot of people are going to take that $2,000 annual bonus and pop it in their kid's account every year. What an amazing thing. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. If you're watching live, the number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Afternoon, Brian. Great day to be an American, calling from California.
Man, isn't this an amazing thing the president announced?
I have to say this. You know, Trump ended up igniting the American people to come back into politics and get so interested. And ever since he ended up entering into this race, I have been so inspired to be more informed about what is going on. And by this move, this creative move that this man has, whoever inspired this, I don't know, but he's the one that got it done.
Yeah.
He's inspiring not only the kids but the parents. I mean, the fact is that we have been complaining about about our kids not being financially literate for so long. This is going to end up inspiring them. Democrats have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. He ended up nailing the coffin on this whole group of people.
See, this is why he was so nice to Mamdani,
Zohan.
Because he knew this was, and he knows that. Think about it. In a couple years, you're going to have kids on the playground in the 5th grade. They're going to look at their phone and say, "Hey, wait a minute. There's a Democrat president, and my account's down in the dumps. When the Republican was president, I had a lot of money. I guess Republicans know what they're doing, and these Democrats, well, they suck." Right?
it's a gift beyond. I mean, it's the thought of it was amazing. The fact that you have these individuals that are wealthy, that are.
I might go buy a Dell this weekend. I don't even like Windows computers. I'm all Macs, but dude, I might get a Dell. Just in.
I can't even imagine. You're gonna have like 7-year-olds looking at the stock market.
That's nuts.
I mean, you are creating a group of people that you're just sparking this sense of capitalism, and then on top of it, they're so usually like the younger generation with their abilities and their learning capacities are so much quicker and everything. It's going to be amazing. It's just a huge, gigantic blessing.
And it's a nail in the coffin of this democratic socialist crap that they're selling.
Yes.
It's gonna fade away.
What are they going? First of all, they've been in power for so many years. They've never been able to come up with something. They're making them so independent by just this small investment that, there's not going to be a need probably for Social Security, because basically, the Democrats have ended up, wasting that away. I mean, he's so
Well, I'll tell you, what the Democrats are going to do is they're going to say, but those kids on the playground we're talking about, some of them, they're going to have more money in their account than others, and it causes the feeling of inadequacy and inequality because everyone's account's not going to be equal. Well, sorry.
Well, it's got to start from somewhere.
Welcome to reality.
Pray and hope.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I pray that the Democrats do not end up finding a way to end up getting that money. I hope it's locked in for those individuals until they're.
And notice how President Trump, I know he promoted it as, well, this is the 250th anniversary. It's really a midterm election thing, right? All the babies in America are going to get these investment accounts. Every American taxpayer is going to get the $2,000 each for the tariff profits. I mean, it's time to the midterm elections.
Well, it doesn't matter. Prosperity is prosperity.
Oh, well, let the Democrats argue against this before the elections, that it's bad that every kid's invested in the stock market now.
How are they going to be able to do that?
Look what they're doing now.
I know. I get that, but the fact of the matter is that for them to be able to come up with, for them to be able to negate this, they're going to have to come up with something better. And the fact of the matter is that they've had all of this time that they have been in office, and if anything, it has gotten worse.
Oh, yes.
This is a strategic move. It's going to end up being paid off in dividends long after Daddy Trump is gone, but it's still going to be paying off. He has gone into the history books already, and now he has cemented his legacy.
This may be what he's, I'll tell you, I believe his greatest accomplishment is overturning Roe v. Wade, because so many babies are born that wouldn't have been, and that's for eternity. But I think what he might be most remembered for will be this, because in 200 years, the Trump accounts are still going to be going on, right?
I think so too, but the thing about it is that, when Roe v. Wade ended up being overturned the way that it was, it created so much, division for people who didn't actually stop and take a minute in regards to what they were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
This move, there is no defense. It's a blessing. That's
yes.
it. That's it. That's all. There's no way that.
Well, I've been talking a lot this week that these things that President Trump are doing are universally good. These are things that no rational, reasonable person could be against. Stopping the drugs coming in, all this. He's doing things that there's no other side to do to them, right? How can you oppose any of these things credibly?
You can't, and the best thing is that for you to actually be able to say anything about it, you're going to have to come up with something better, and they're not, because they're not interested.
I mean, look at these drug traffickers on the boat. They're acting like they're Rose and Jack Dawson hanging onto a piece of wood next to the Titanic. Oh, help us, I mean, these are terrorists bringing poison that was going to kill people in this country. So what that it took 2 shots to blow them up? Who cares?
I've been meaning to actually inform you because, I mean, the effects of that I directly see in my practice.
What do you mean?
And I do have
What
to
do you mean?
say, well, because of my job, because of what I do. I interact with individuals who are dealing with substance abuse and mental health issues and incarceration, I mean, in different capacities in the medical field. And usually that we end up doing drug tests. And to be completely honest, I am actually observing less identifying markers in regards to fentanyl use, because typically, like probably around 7 months ago, everything was laced with fentanyl, and because we test for it, because it can have, because it can cause some issues medically speaking with withdrawal, and what have you, and I'm seeing actually less markers of those being present. So it is
supply
having,
short.
His moves are having an impact, and the fact of the matter is that these drugs have the spirit of Lucifer within them. And to get them off the streets is something that needs to be done. And as I think you've said so many times before, and I've agreed with you, that Democrats it's insane that they end up standing for all of these people that want the worst for us, whether it's killing us physically, emotionally, mentally, what have you, and yet they're standing up and promoting them, and yet I don't understand why.
Because if people aren't on drugs and being victimized by crime, or not poor, or they don't hate each other, the Democrats got nothing.
Well, no, they can't end up embezzling that money. They're
Correct.
Huge, gigantic.
I believe in my
California.
heart that the Democrats and the deep state are profiting off the cartels. They're working too hard to keep them in business.
Yes. I completely agree with you. I think you're seeing that in Minnesota right now.
Oh yes.
I think you're going to see it in California.
Tim Walz. I think there's a greater than 50% chance that Tim Walz is going to go to prison over this.
I wouldn't doubt it, because I could have sworn that when that individual who was a representative in that state was actually shot, that the guy who did it stated that he was hired by Tim Walz.
The Democrat, the guy with the mask.
I'm not saying, allegedly. I mean, that's what he said.
Well, it makes that seem more reasonable now, more rational, doesn't it?
Exactly. I'm gonna let.
Well, listen, you brought up some good stuff. I appreciate the call.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to voice our opinion.
Absolutely.
I really am very, very grateful to you, and keep up the great work.
All right, take care. Yeah, she brought up some good points, didn't she? If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. President Trump had this cabinet meeting today, and he ended it with one of the most badass mic drop moments I've ever seen. I mean, this is like Chris Rock level stuff.
We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much.
You hear this? The cabinet is like, hear ye, hear ye. They're banging on the table. Was that? Oh, man. Ilhan Omar is going to lose her citizenship. Don't you see? She's even telling herself, well, I could live anywhere. They could deport me. I'm not a little girl anymore. So she's preparing herself for it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Alan, calling from New York.
Hey, New York. What's on your mind?
Wow, some of this stuff you're saying, you make like Trump's a god, but what has he done for you?
Well, he did a lot. He made the Trump tax cuts permanent, so he saved me thousands and thousands of dollars every year from me and my family, since you asked.
I don't...
Well, no, wait a minute. You asked me a question. You've got no answer for it because you're some New York Democrat idiot, and you want to move on and just tune that out?
I'm not a Democrat.
Oh, what are you?
I'm not a Democrat.
What are you?
I'm not a Democrat just because I'm in New York. I'm a Republican, sir, but that just
A
'cause I live in
Republican who
a
hates
blue
Trump?
state.
A Republican that hates Trump? How can that be? What makes you a Republican?
I did not say. Hey, whoa! Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say I hated.
Believe me, I'm not going to put anything in your mouth. Are you kidding?
I didn't say I hated him. I
hear the love. I hear the love. What has Trump ever done for you?
I didn't say it like
What
that.
kind?
I said,
What makes you a?
a?
What makes you a Republican? Why are you a Republican?
Oh, really? I'm 100%.
Why are you? What
welfare.
makes you a Republican? What about the Republican philosophy makes you be a Republican?
I believe in capitalism.
Well, then you should love Trump. He's Mr. Capitalism. He's the definition of it.
No, he ain't.
No, he ain't. That double negative means yes, he is. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Did you know that Donald Trump was? You made a comment that I live in a liberal state, so I must be a liberal. Donald J. Trump lived in the most liberal city in the United States. He was a Democrat. The only reason why he changed parties so he could run for president.
No, in New York. You're in New York. You know this. When you're born in New York City, they give your parents two things before you leave the hospital: a birth certificate and a Democrat voter's registration.
Oh, bullshit.
And I didn't say you're a Democrat because you're in New York. I assumed you were a Democrat because you're trashing Trump, as you're still doing it. So if you're a capitalist, you should love President Trump. He just announced excuse me. He just announced one of the most capitalistic plans any president has ever announced, put it into action. Capitalism 101 with these accounts for children invested in the stock market. If you're a capitalist, you should support all this stuff. You certainly support his tax cuts, right? He said he's going to eliminate. He said he's going to eliminate the income tax. You don't support eliminating the income tax?
He ain't going to do that.
He said it several times.
He ain't going to do that.
He said today.
He's not gonna do
he
it.
said today for most people the income tax will be eliminated. Isn't that a good thing, Mr. Republican?
No, it won't.
Well,
It is not
hold
gonna
on a
happen.
second. As a Republican, don't you support that?
Actually, no.
What are you drinking? Is that moonshine? What are you drinking? I heard you take a swig of
I ain't
something.
drinking moonshine.
Kool-Aid?
Water.
Is it liberal
Water.
Kool-Aid? Hey, listen, thanks for the call, man. I'm going to move on. All right? All right, take another swig of the Kool-Aid. Oh, my goodness. Does that guy sound like a Republican? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know what? You're right. We weren't expecting.
Hold
this
on, Mike. Let me
announce-
answer these phones. My phones are ringing off. Yeah. All right, Mike, go ahead.
We weren't expecting this announcement, but again, this is another one of these announcements that is basically a tactical nuke for the Democrats. I mean, think about it. It's going to take them a day or so to get their things in line to counter this, to quote, counter this announcement that Trump just made. But again, Trump's in the process of destroying the Democrat Party, and we know what's going to happen when they get their stuff in line. They're going to come out, anything Trump says is bad. They're going to come out against this, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, they're coming out against stopping the drug cartels from bringing illegal drugs into the country. So when you're coming out against that, you'll come out against anything. Thanks for the call, Mike. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Anthony in South Chicagoland.
Hey, what's up, Anthony in Chicago?
I've been listening to your channel on and off for a while.
Yes.
And
Hold on. Give me 1 second while I answer these lines. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Chicago. You've been listening for a while, and you do like what?
I would say like about 90 to 95% of everything that Trump's doing. Now, the thing that he was saying he was going to take away of all the auto pen stuff, and I'm assuming that's going to have to do with a lot of the pardons. Now,
He didn't say the
I
pardons.
want
He
your
said
thoughts on that.
he didn't say. He said when he brought this up the other day, he said the executive orders, not the pardons. Those are different.
Oh, okay. I thought that the pardons might come into played
They
there.
may, they
because
may,
that was
you know,
also- I know they brought 'em.
they may. There's been some forensic analysis on the pardon signatures, and Hunter's pardon was not done with AutoPen. It was done with an actual signature of Joe Biden. So Joe Biden and his sicko wife, they knew somehow there was something wrong with these AutoPen pardons, or they would have just let the AutoPen do Hunter's, right? Why did he go out of his way to sign Hunter's pardon? Because he knew it. They know it stinks.
Right. Well, that's why I kind of want your thoughts on this. If they were to undo most or if not a lot of the pardons, especially Fauci's, do you think Donald Trump be ready for kind of the heat that goes along with that, considering he was the one to appoint him in the first place?
Well, you know, listen,
that's the
you
one
can't
thing the Democrats really try to hit him hard
you know,
in 2020.
a point,
You know what I mean?
Fauci, you know, when Fauci had his job, he was the highest paid person in the federal government, making more a year than even the president, right, who makes $400,000 a year is the presidential salary. So when you say a point, he can, you know, it's not like he picks some guy, like when they pick the Surgeon General, they pick some doctor that's famous or something, and they make them the Surgeon General, something like that. Fauci was kind of like grandfathered into the position. That was like a promotion from within. So I wouldn't say I know he technically appointed him, but it's not like he appointed Pete Hegseth. You understand what I mean? He was already there. I don't know.
I guess I'll restructure my phrasing. He stood alongside him on those daily press briefings.
Well, how was he supposed to know?
How months on end.
How many
Well,
wives? Hold on a second.
How
many wives have stood next to their husbands and on the altar, and then down the road they found out they were screwing around on him? You don't know someone's a creep until you do. How is he supposed to know?
That's actually my point. That's actually where I was going with it, so thank you for bringing me there. If that were to happen and they start taking these pardons away, and Fauci is now put back on the hook, per se, do you think Trump's actually going to come out there and say stuff against
I don't know.
him?
Listen, there's so many fish to fry. There's so many fish to fry. I was reading today, there's some new indictments coming down for Big T, what's her, Letitia James and Comey and some others. I mean, there's so many people to go after. Fauci, honestly, is way down on the list. The lawfare people are more important.
To shut the country down for 2 years,
I mean,
that affected a lot more people. You know what I mean? Like,
in the short term. In the long term, the lawfare is worse, believe it or not, than the shutdown.
Well, I just think that's what created the inflation and everything to take a shit in the first place was shutting the country down.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Fauci should be put on a bigger hook than Comey or James or anybody. Yeah. A lot of people lost their jobs.
Oh, no, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, so I've kind of blocked out.
Go after them.
If he did, I wouldn't mind. But you know, there's a rule of thumb that you got to choose your battles, and there's just so many battles and so little time. You know, see some of these things, it would rally the Democrats together, and the Democrats are fractured right now. So a lot of like for example, more importantly, right now, would be bringing Senator Kelly back into the Navy and court-martialing him for sedition. And that very well may happen. But I think what the president is weighing is it worth the risk, right? He gets court-martialed. He could have liberal judges, a liberal judge in the court-martial, a liberal jury of officers. So they got to weigh, and of course, what will that unify the Democrat Party, which is disorganized and fading away? So, you know, a lot of time, you got to weigh a lot of things in. And going after Kelly is more important in the immediacy in a court-martial than going after Fauci.
Well, right,
today.
Because right now they can do something about Kelly where Fauci has to be unpardoned to really
there's too many. There's a lot of hoops to go through because if they do away with the pardons, that's going to be tied up in the courts and to the Supreme Court and everything else. I mean, that's such a process. You know, there's so many that would trigger so many things.
They had so many hearings. going after Fauci with, questioning the 6
I'm
foot
just
distance
I'm just
and where
not
did that
I'm just
come
not
from.
Fauci obsessed, but you know what? I've kind of blacked out that whole year out of my mind. You know?
Right, but I think that's where if we dig our heads in the sand, it can happen again. And what's going to happen next time?
You know what though?
that's
Let me
where
let
it's
me
like,
tell you
we
something.
gotta
Let
take
me
our
let me
heads
let me
out of
let me let me tell you. This I was having lunch with a couple of friends of mine a couple weeks ago. Dr. Appleton and Tom Laporta, right? That are sponsors of my program. Dr. Appleton, who's the laser wave pain doctor, and Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing. And they were talking to me about the diet I've been on, right? Coastal Weight Loss Seeker. I've lost over 35 pounds, And he was one of them was telling me about a friend of theirs, very MAGA. And he got on Ozempic, and he looks like he came out of Auschwitz. He looks sick, right? Like the Ozempic people. And I said, and he was telling me how MAGA he is. And I said, I bet he didn't get vaxxed. He says, no. And I said, this is one thing that amazes me. People, the anti-vaccination, I get all that. But look how many people are running out and getting Ozempic without any, you know what I mean? So many people that are, wouldn't get anywhere near the vaccination are taking the Ozempic or another drug similar to it without really any long-term research or anything else. It seems a little strange, doesn't it?
Well, and that's I went actually switched doctors recently, and I saw a brand new doctor a day or two ago. And when I went to see the doctor, he's introducing himself, going through everything, my medical records and things like that. And he brings up the COVID vaccine. He's like, you know what? I am not promoting the COVID vaccine. We don't know enough about it. I'm not going to push that.
There you go.
Brand new doctor, didn't request them, didn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking this is doctors saying this now. What were they saying a few years ago?
But see, listen, I don't want to be, I got a lot going on. I don't want to be talking about 2020 anymore, but I appreciate the call. All right. Welcome. It's just, I like to talk about what's going on. I'm not into 5-6 years in the past too much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You sadly missed your chance. If you're on hold, hang in there. I may take some more calls, but I want to get back to this. I want to, if you're on hold, stand by. I want to play this again. This is how the president ended the cabinet meeting today.
We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much.
Well, what a change. I mean, this guy, Donald Trump, in this second term, which is a term of perfection, has saved this country and got us back on track in so many ways. And everything he said, I love, my favorite part, everything he said, so true, agree with everything. I just love how the cabinet, hear ye, and they're banging on the table like it's a parliament in the UK. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, my name's Jack.
Yeah, my name's Brian.
Hello?
Yeah, what's on your mind, Jack?
Well, I mean, you're over here, really promoting Trump, it seems like, huh, bud?
Who else? What do you mean, who else should I be promoting?
You got, a hat that says 2028 on it, which is,
That's right. That's right. Trump 2020.
Against the fucking Constitution. First of all, take off the fucking hat because it's against the Constitution. And it just looks.
Well, I may comment on that because hold on a second. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
Let me speak.
No, I'm going to respond to what you.
Let's be honest.
Excuse me. No, I'm going to respond to what you said, and you're welcome to participate in the conversation. You said that my Trump 2028 hat goes against the effing Constitution, to quote you. As such a strict constitutionalist, you certainly support the First Amendment of free speech and free expression, which my Trump 2028 hat, of course, represents, correct?
I don't care what it represents. It's fucking stupid.
But if you're such a constitutionalist, what about the freedom of speech? First Amendment, freedom of speech.
You know what? It's like wearing a hat with a piece of shit on it that says "I'm hungry."
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about, bro?
I'm talking about that I want Trump to run in 2020.
I'm just letting you know.
I'm stupid with the language you're using. Oh, well, I appreciate you letting me know.
No, I'm just letting you know. Okay.
You think you're letting me know I'm stupid.
I appreciate you, Brian. I appreciate you taking my call, and I want to say thanks. Well, can I get onto the call?
Oh, we haven't gotten onto the call yet? Sure. I'll see. I'll see where you're going. I'm not promising anything.
What do you think is the benefit of Trump going ahead and getting the testimony of a convicted sex trafficker, regarding the Epstein files? Why do you think that was important for Trump to get Ghislaine Maxwell alone in a room to talk to her about some important Epstein files thing, and then all of a sudden she gets transferred to a brand new prison?
Oh, well, this is interesting. So I thought I was pretty. No, I'm glad you brought that up. Hold on a second.
How little Trump has to hide.
Slow down a second.
Trump must have nothing to hide.
Slow down a second. See,
why would you ever want to help a sex trafficker?
I heard that. I'm going to respond now because I like to think. Excuse me, you're on hold. I'm letting you have your little fun and with all your inappropriate language, but you gotta relax a little bit, man. I like to think of myself.
You're gonna let me talk.
I don't have to let you do anything. I don't have to let you do anything. It's my show.
You gotta accept the fact.
If you look on the screen, it says the Brian Craig Show. Not the Jack from Profanityville show. It says the Brian Craig Show.
You got a response? You got a response, sweetheart? Or are you just gonna?
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, so you're hitting on me now.
Are you going to respond, Brian?
Oh, what kind of guy calls another guy sweetheart?
Brian, changing the subject.
Are you
changing the subject?
He just came out of the closet.
Sexuality.
No, it's about your sexuality. You just came out of the closet. Now, you brought up some news that I wasn't aware of. You said President Trump was alone in a room and met with Ghislaine Maxwell. I missed that. When did that happen?
Buddy, come on, let's be serious.
Buddy, it was sweetheart a minute ago. Hey, listen, take care. Appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. Came out of the closet on the air. I've had that. He's not the first person to come out of the closet on this program. It's happened before. Oh, man. What a great day. Welcome, everyone. If you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe, all right? My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, Tim Walz, he's facing prison over this financial scandal with the Somalians. And he was asked about it today in a kitchen somewhere. Listen what he had to say.
When the President of the United States sets up and tweets 150 times after midnight and targets certain people, it's not a coincidence that they're targeting Minnesota. We certainly welcome those investigations. They've been done by all of you, and they've been done here. We certainly want to know that, but it's also the Transportation Secretary who is threatening to withhold our federal dollars. Look, that's who they are. This is who they are. We welcome anybody who wants to help us. We're fixing it. And I said, Minnesotans know us and our team. We led us through COVID. We led us through George Floyd. We brought our economy to one of the best in the country. And we'll tackle this. Look
at all this. You know he's guilty. He's throwing out more virtue signaling calls and references than I've ever heard in a single sentence.
Governors have dealt with fraud. I want to make sure I'm the last one that has to deal with it by putting these things in. If they want to help us, I welcome that. I think they do an investigation, find out, but I don't think anybody in here really believes their motive and their timing is about actually doing something about this, much like the legislature. They had every opportunity to do investigations. They had every opportunity to do their oversight. They chose not to. The very legislatures that are required to do an audit have not done their own audit. The very legislator that has Republican legislators accusing other Republican legislators of fraud in the PPP program, the federal program, demonizing an entire population and lying to people about the safety and security of this state is beneath that. And I will just add, as a teacher and as a parent, the absolutely pathetic usage of a slur, not to me, I don't care what he calls me many things, but don't think that doesn't hurt our children. Don't think it doesn't hurt people who are dealing with this. This is...
By the way, just on a personal note, I can't stand it when guys have their collar flipped up like he thinks he's Elvis Presley or something. You know what I mean? Guys remember they used to do that with the polo shirts? They flip up like the back of the collar. You know, does he seem like he's addressed anything about the $1 billion in taxpayer money that the Somalians of Minnesota stole?
Not normal. It's not both sidesism. We're solving problems. We're making life more affordable. We're talking about bringing people in, and we're getting this. They need to focus on the war crimes that are coming up. They need to focus on making life more affordable. They need to focus on the issues they're dealing with. We just had a state dinner for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who is directly responsible for the murder of American journalists. That seems to me to be something Republicans should be concerned about, because that is factual, based, and researched and verified.
No, we're concerned about the $1 billion in taxpayer money, and, you know, if you got any of it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, come on. Why are you going
to I'm going to tell you.
Ghislaine a puppy?
All right, I'm going to tell you this. It's one call per show, okay?
He gives her a puppy,
if you call again, we'll never talk again, all right? Just to give a heads up. It's one call per show.
Do you condemn?
Okay, that's it. You know, I think he's upset a little bit. Tim Walz is likely to go to prison. Ilhan Omar is likely to lose her citizenship or flee or be deported. You know, we're in a new place now. And I'll tell you where it came from. You know where it came from? It came from a week ago tomorrow when that Afghan deep state terrorist shot dead an American National Guardswoman, and the other guy that survived is not doing well. They said he's responding, and they said he was wiggling his toes. What the heck? He's not doing well. And Trump's done with these people. Not only is he done with them, he's done with them forever. You know, it's what J.D. Vance was talking about. There's no middle ground with these people. There's no room for agreement with these people. Okay? There's no middle ground. You know, yeah, no unity is what they said. There's just no, and that's the way it's going to be moving forward. Now, I wanted to talk about a couple things here. And the cabinet meeting today was spectacular. I think it's going to be the last one of the year. But there's a couple clips I wanted to play from it. Give me a minute here to cue it up, because let me pull it up. All right, let's see. This is President Trump talking about the drug traffickers. Listen to this. And this has been talked about so much by the left, who are basically defending them.
We lost last year. I think it was more than that, but, you know, people don't like saying it because they always said 100,000, 115,000, numbers we've been hearing for years. So we lost last year more than 200,000 people, dead people, ruined families beyond the 200,000. And those 200,000, that family will never be the same. But these people have killed over 200,000 people, actually killed over 200,000 people last year. And
last year, 200,000 people in this country died last year alone. Last year alone because of the cartels. That's just last year.
Those numbers are down. Those numbers are down. They're way down. And they're down because we're doing these strikes, and we're going to start doing those strikes on land too. You know, the land is much easier. It's much easier. And we know the routes they take. We know everything about them. We know where they live. We know where the bad ones live. And we're going to start that very soon too.
Mr. President, thank you so much, Mr. President.
You know what, when we start that, we're going to drive those numbers down so low. And then you're going to have families be able to live without the fear of their son or daughter just having a pill to have a little fun and ending up dying within a period of 60 seconds, right? No, we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let it continue to happen. What Biden did to this country by allowing all these people, and I call them animals in many cases, I think they're animals, to come into our country and destroy our country and let all those drugs pour in. let people just walk across the border like it was nothing. You look at them, a lot of them, and you say, oh, let's not discriminate. I'm not talking about color. I'm just talking about, you look into the eyes of some of these people. We're smart. And you see a killer. Come on in. Just come on in. 11,888 murderers. Many of them committed more than one murder. He allowed them into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. But he also allowed drugs to come in at record numbers. And hundreds of thousands of people a year died. And we're taking those son of a bitches out.
Wow, we're taking those SOBs out. And, think about that, 200,000 last year. And that doesn't include, by the way, people that are victims of that. People are victimized by these drug dealers or drug addicts, whether you're robbed and all, you know what I'm talking about. It's a mess. How many 9/11s is that just last year? And that's been going on every year for how many years? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Mike from New Mexico.
Yeah, Mike, hold on a second. I'm going to answer some of these lines. Yeah, go ahead, Mike from New Mexico. What's on your mind?
Well, to be honest, I'm a little bit disgusted that you're not disgusted that Trump gave a no.
Uh-huh. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Well, Donald Trump could go anywhere in the world, any spot on the earth, hold court, and everybody will pay attention.
Absolutely.
And it just shows you, just like what we saw today, how much, respect and how much command and him and his administration have. And everything is getting done. He has not wavered at all from what he's going to do. He's actually tightening his grip even more.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what we need to see. And you know what? Things happen in life, and it's going to push him even harder. And you think this guy is going to just falter. He doesn't falter, and none of his administration will do the same. They're all walking step. And I think this is finally seeing it. And and you look at Tim Walz's body language says everything. He is trembling from within.
I would
just
say.
an example.
I would say so. Yeah, he looks very nervous. Because, this is the thing. I tell you guys, I love watching true crime on ID, and I love when they show the real interrogation, when they bring in the killers to be questioned by the police. And I've heard a lot of the detectives say, a lot of times we don't have that much information. We may not have anything, but the bad guys think we know everything. And that's what causes them to freak out. And that's where Tim Walz is at right now. He's hiding something.
Yeah.
He looks scared. See, if you're not, if you are an executive at a company and you have no knowledge and find out that there's been massive theft from he's the chief executive of Minnesota. So if you're a chief executive of a company and find out somebody stole $1 billion, first off, how's that possible without you knowing? But then you're like, well, I want to help you catch this guy. You don't start throwing around, George Floyd and BLM and, and then this. You don't start virtue signaling. You want to find out, you want to help find the people that stole the $1 billion. Tim Walz is not doing that. He's like, how dare you? How dare you is what he's saying.
Yeah, right. He's throwing up his Mickey Mouse hands, his little wavy hands. And he does. Exactly. He's not helping the situation at all. And by him doing that, it's just confirming what we all knew all along about him. And the situation is just getting worse for him by him doing that. And we obviously see no morality there. We don't see any honesty. He knew about this the whole time. And,
I don't know if this is true or not, but I was reading today on X that Zelensky's being told that he needs to resign and get out of the country. That
I heard about this.
Yeah, I hope it's true. And of course, the same thing's being offered to the Venezuelan narco president down there, Maduro. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and some of these others may be doing the same thing, may be flying private jets somewhere off out of the country one day where there's no extradition.
You look at Zelensky's chief of staff. I mean, he had to go.
Well, I'll tell you where I think if Tim Walz is dirty, we don't know, but if he is, you know where I think he'd flee to?
I
what do you think?
I know what you're going to say.
Think. What do you think?
It's Tiananmen Square, China.
That's right, China. We'll wake up one day and find out that Tim Walz is in Tiananmen Square. That's right.
He's going to be a tour guide in Tiananmen.
Tiananmen Square tour guide, exactly. Tiananmen Square tour guide. Yeah, he'll end up in China because it'll be like there's a movie with Gene Hackman and Kevin Costner called No Way Out, where they're searching for a Russian spy. And spoiler alert on this film from 1989 or whatever the hell year it was. Kevin Costner's a naval officer. You find out at the end he's a Russian spy, been under deep cover. That'll be like Tim Walz, right? Chinese spy.
Yeah, he's
coming in from the cold.
If he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an operative of some kind, and we know it. And he's done. And Kelly's doing the same thing in his movements too. Just look at how he's reacting.
Kelly did not look well in that press conference. Senator Kelly looked terrified in that press conference yesterday, like he was having an anxiety attack. I thought.
You just can see it. I mean, it's written into their face. The symptom is written right on their face and their eyes.
Yeah.
And he's facing something really big here. I mean, the military court's a whole other ballgame here.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to run, but I good points. I agree with everything. Before I go, though, I do want to share this. This is from the cabinet meeting today. Pete Hegseth.
You didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand. You sit in your air-conditioned offices or up on Capitol Hill and you nitpick and you plant fake stories in the Washington Post about kill everybody, phrases on anonymous sources not based in anything, not based in any truth at all. And then you want to throw out really irresponsible terms about American heroes, about the judgment that they made. I wrote a whole book on this topic because of what politicians and the press does to warfighters. President Trump has empowered commanders to do what is necessary, which is dark and difficult things in the dead of night on behalf of the American people. We support them, and we will stop the poisoning of the American people.
But what a badass he is. Don't you guys love Pete Hegseth is probably the greatest war secretary or defense secretary, because he'll have both titles, that this country has ever had. We've never had a guy who stood up like that for this country and for the military and doing the right thing. First off, wars, you're not supposed to be watching wars in real time, okay? What is this, Faces of Death? And when you see these things in real time, shame on the press. Shame on them, right? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Phil from Philadelphia.
Okay. What a coincidence.
I got to disagree with you on the Pete Hegseth thing, buddy, because with the whole Signal chat gate, man, I mean, that guy needs to get fired 5 months ago. What the fuck are you talking about?
What was that about? What do you mean? What did he do?
Signal chat. He leaked the whole bombing plan to a news reporter.
No, he didn't. By the way, I told you if you called me again, we wouldn't talk again. And then you did it. So, goodbye forever. Jeez. I have so few rules, and really the main rule on the program is 1 call per show. I do 2 a day most every day, okay? So, it's not like I'm restricting everything. I have one, but you know what it is with liberals? They have boundary issues. They can't follow even the simplest of rules. Listen, the rest of you on hold, hang in there. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So if you're new, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new to the program, all right? Whenever I'm in the studio, I'm always taking live calls like I'm doing today. So catch me on the next live stream. You can call in. All right, take care. Thanks for watching.